Well, we've got 2 boxes. This one's unexpected. I'm guessing Right Stuff maybe forgot to send a tracking number or something. Okay, let's see. I'm just being careful here because I don't want the receipt on camera. You know, that receipt that has personally identifiable information. Cool. Okay, and then we've got this bigger one. The reason I was carefully putting it down is because it is a little heavier than usual, and that's to be expected. This is the usual anime, but there's also a book in here. Considering most of the usual anime. Putting it to the side here. The rest of the usual anime. And the book. Set this down like that. Here just as well. So the book in question is If at Birth You Don't Succeed. It's by Zach Anner. If you haven't heard of him, you can look him up. He's a funny, charismatic guy. Before we go on with these, we've got Twilight Princess Wii U Amiibo bundle. As you can see, the box is opened already. Things are all over the place. I don't want to try and put it back together because it came with an Amiibo in this case, and here's the Amiibo in question. Actually, a bit more elaborate than others. Like if we compare to the Rosalina one, you can kind of see it barely fits on there. It's pretty neat. And I kind of wanted to show the packaging of it because this, I don't know, that might mean it can get sold separately. And then of course you got the case. Nothing in it because I put that in the Wii U, but yeah. Let's see. I guess anime, we got a Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Season 3. I know another Yu-Gi-Oh! GX is somewhere in the piles just behind me, but oh well. I don't know how I can pull them all out. Forgot to mute that. Oh. Yeah, I'm not sure what to make of that. That looks like somewhat more mecha stuff. Maybe Yu-Gi-Oh! GX is just a lot more like that. I don't know. I really should watch some of this and start catching up on it, but there's so much of it. I can't even keep up with stuff that I do get. And then we got Volume 9. Which is technically Volume 3 for this release. Total of 6 discs. And obviously some of this stuff isn't as mecha, but whatever. So the reason I was kind of interested, I guess there's split art there maybe, and then there's this artwork. So I could probably try and put them together. Wolf Girl, Black Prince. DVD and Blu-ray versions. So, first off, DVD version. I'm not noticing anything particularly notable. If your boyfriend makes you wear a leash. Is it puppy love if your boyfriend makes you wear a leash? Shit, this one's... we're going. I wouldn't call this the lazy route if the plastic's being unreasonable. Just being completely unreasonable. Well, I guess I got a little corner started. This one's decided that it's time to be annoying. Very annoying. So we got our one disc in the Blu-ray version. Region A only, subtitled only. The DVD version has 2 discs. Both upside down. I'm going to turn them right side up so that we can very quickly take a look in the Blu-ray version again. Try and remember what artwork was in here. Because it looks like a same disc too. Interesting. Next up we've got Psycho-Pass 2. Which I guess I don't know much about. Region A and B. Dubbed. Trying to remember where season 1 is, if there was maybe some room in there for something like this. Although this is a pretty solid box on its own, so probably not much needed. This is season 2, episodes 1 through 11, so this might be a part. I'm wondering if this is a part 1. It's Blu-ray. It's Blu-ray. Yeah, no other Psycho-Pass things here, so this makes me think that I need to go and get a DVD version as well. No, it says Blu-ray plus DVD there. What the fucking hell? Because that says Blu-ray. That says Blu-ray. Did I miss? Is there another DVD? No. This is just a simple booklet. The back says Blu-ray only. Yeah, I'm not crazy. This is a strange departure for Funimation, I think. Unless they didn't release a DVD version at all. Well, I'm gonna have to go figure that out. Pokemon movie 18, I think? Hoopla and the Clash of Ages. Although I'm not terribly familiar with this legendary Pokemon. I start getting kind of fuzzy if they're legendary past Generation 4, I guess, which would be the main one I played. Some of the Generation 3s, maybe ideas. Oh, straightforward. To be expected. English subtitles, 2.0 and 5.1 audio. It's about expected. Here we have Kingdom of the Complete second season. Hopefully with all discs this time. Okay, so it's 1 through 7, 8 through 14, 15 through 21, 22 through 28, 29 through 35, and 36 through 39. So that looks right. Now, whether or not it's actually right, I can't say for certain because I haven't watched this. I'm trying to see down here. It says Japanese stereo, English stereo. Does that mean it is dubbed? I'm trying to remember. Next up, Brothers Conflict. Includes 58 minutes of never before broadcast OVAs plus 8 exclusive art cards. This one is Region A only. Dubbed. I am quite curious about this one. It seems very Shoujo Josei or something like that. I'm trying to remember. Actually, maybe I didn't get a strong impression of either of those, and it's just, you know, something like that. Looks like it might be entertaining. I don't remember how it rates. So, yeah, that's right. I did say there were postcards in here. Of the characters I probably don't care too much about, but Some might do, some of y'all might actually enjoy it. Is this, I'm trying to think what it says there. It says something 1, 2, 3. Maybe DVD 1 through 3. Because what I'm trying to find is those markings. It does say DVD. It's 3 DVDs. This one, it probably says Blu-ray 1 through 2. I guess some of the artwork on these cards and on the DVD are the same, aren't they? It's pretty stereotypical though. Only the 2 Blu-ray discs. Very simple. Simple's good. Means anime continues to be released. And then let's sneak this back in the box so it lives there. And of course you saw the Utawarerumono Blu-ray DVD copies. Amazon seemed to think that they were going to be released later than the original listing, I guess, and Right Stuff was pretty sure they were going to get it still at the original listing time or something like that. I don't remember what that timing was, but it's here now. And that plastic was surprisingly loose. Oh, great. The plastic on the DVD is loose as hell. On the Blu-ray, it's tight. But we managed to get into it. Let's see, this is Sentai. Oh, look, English dub. There's a part of me thinking maybe I should rewatch the old one. Because I know that there's the new series, and that's probably on the verge of coming out, and this is part of that. Well, everything seems to be in order. DVD, Blu-ray. Smells strange. Not sure what to make of that. But, weird. And last but not least, Eto-tama Collection 3, Volume 3. Whichever you would call it, arrived today. I wonder if this is the final one. That might mean that I can watch this final one, I guess. I'm thinking about what I'm going to be watching next, keeping in mind the stuff that's arriving today, because, you know, it's a bunch of new arrivals, and I'm trying to remember what old stuff there is. I know Lull in the Sea is still kind of floating on my I should watch this list, but it's a little buried, and I haven't started unburying that stuff yet. Okay, no inserts on the back. This is Japanese, English, Spanish subtitles, DVD. So we'll just dive on in. Let's see. 4 characters. I'm trying to remember how many animals are in the Zodiac, because I do believe this is Zodiac based. I swear there's 2 cards here stuck together, and well, maybe not stuck, but I don't know. That was annoying. There's 4 here, and there's been 4 in the previous ones, and that means a total of 12, which would mean that this could be the last one. I don't know. Guess the only way to find out is to look it up online before I watch it. Here we have the Blu-ray, and then the DVD version, and then underneath the DVD version we've got a soundtrack. Kind of hard to see her face underneath all those discs, but oh well, sometimes it's just what happens. Let's see, alright, I think that's everything. Except, of course, figuring out a Psycho Pass 2. That's Annoying, but oh well. This week's actually pretty decent anime DVD collection update. So, last week I had started watching Devil Survivor 2, I think. I'm pretty sure I hadn't finished it, and I did finish it, and it was enjoyable. I think last week I was talking about how maybe it felt like there was something off, which would have been expected of a seemingly good video game adapted into an anime. But then it kind of felt like those issues cleared up. So, not being aware of what the original game was like, I thought it was pretty entertaining. It doesn't rate that well, I think, but I thought it was entertaining. I'm trying to think of what to talk about. I guess it lacks impact that maybe the original game would have had, but it's still something that sort of happens, and these characters had thoughts and things to say, and some of it are things that you maybe want to say back. Like, my teen romantic comedy, Snafu. I don't remember what its Japanese name is. There's a point in there where Hachiman talks about organisms naturally being solo or something like that, when we're kind of living proof that that's not the way nature works. I mean, my hand is millions of small organisms, maybe, I don't know if it's millions, but it's definitely a lot, a mind-boggling amounts. And the entire point is there's benefit in cooperation, co-living, and the person in Devil Survivor 2 kind of has a problem with accepting that or understanding that, I guess, to a certain extent. And it's the sort of thing where it's like, yeah, people should help each other just because that's kind of how we as a species have grown dominant. It's not because one person is God and can kill any animal that dares cross his path or something like that. It's because we've worked together to become efficient, organized, and whatnot. We're only partially self-sufficient. I mean, we can trick ourselves into thinking we're self-sufficient. But, like, what if you have, let's say you won the Powerball lottery and you spent your money to go and live out in the woods on your own forever or something like that. Are you really alone? Is that really something where you can say, yeah, this is something that only I did? Or there's still the fact that that Powerball winning would represent a lot of work, because, you know, money's kind of representative of the labor people put in. It's not a one-to-one how much effort or whatnot, but that's the general concept. And so if you're starting your trek out into nowhere, you're kind of doing that. If you're there's plenty of ideas there where you probably were given opportunity to learn the basic skills you needed, not even just from your parents, but from communities, entire communities, which means this isn't something where you're being protected by your mom until you're a snake that's big enough to hunt for rodents on your own or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised if there's at least some snake species that do that, but you know, snakes tend to be born and they kind of already know their instincts on how to survive, I guess. They have things they just already know. Reactions they automatically do. And people don't necessarily need to be that way, but it's still the sort of thing where the electricity in my apartment is being run by somebody else. The air conditioner is being maintained by the people who run the apartment complex, of course. The food in the fridge is stocked from people who are working everywhere to make food and transport it everywhere, and even my precious DVDs are, you know, this is all just an accumulation of humans working together, even if it's the sort of thing where you're like, get off of my property and I have my gun, which I probably didn't make myself, somebody else made it, and, you know, humans are actually very collective, even if you like to think of them as individualistic. I don't know. I guess I'm kind of going on and babbling. I guess this next one, though, might encourage some of that, too. So in contrast to last week, I did only watch a couple anime, actually. Just Devil Survivor 2 and Wizard Barristers. So, I actually thought this was enjoyable. Like I said, I think when I opened this last week, its character design looks very Kite and Mezzoforte-ish. I think some of the characters and concepts are kind of similar. It's one of those things where I guess maybe you don't realize some of those things until you start looking. It's sort of like Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 1. These are the old Tobey Maguire ones, I think. I think that's his name. The older Spider-Man ones that jump-started the superhero stuff. I never realized those were directed by the same person who does Evil Dead, but you know, the scene in which Dr. Octopus wakes up and has become Dr. Octopus and he's fused with the robot things, the robotic arms, that scene is actually kind of similar to the sort of stuff I've seen of, I guess only Army of Darkness and clips of Evil Dead. So it's kind of interesting how you can realize little things like that after it's there, and I don't know. That's a lot of stuff to not talk about this anime. I thought it was actually pretty enjoyable as well. Maybe not like super spectacular. I guess I'm trying to think why. Probably because there's definitely an element of it that's really neat and fascinating, but it is kind of designed to try and resist that conceptually, I guess. So, like, our main character is established as being, I'm trying to think what all I want to say, but we can at least say that, she's established as being a fairly, powerful wizard. I think. I mean, I can't think of anything that would be like, no, but I don't know if it's necessarily something where you go, oh yeah, that's so awesome, because that thing that's awesome about it is, again, something that they're trying to actively resist having the anime do by its design as opposed to by circumstance, I guess. And yeah, there's that. But maybe it's more interesting from the point of view of exploration of justice in general, I guess. But it's definitely not as appealing as, like, the Phoenix Wright games. And the entire point of the Phoenix Wright games, and this anime kind of felt like it was along similar lines, is some of the inherent corruption in there, maybe. I'm not sure if it was actually trying to make a statement like that, but it's kind of an important element. And Phoenix Wright, you know, counterbalances that with humor and makes you the person that's getting around this inherent corruption, where it's like, okay, if you're really going with the concept of innocent until proven guilty, you can't say, oh, well, the prosecution just made up this scenario off the top of his head, and therefore, since the defense can't prove that didn't happen, that must mean that we're doing innocent until proven guilty. That's actually the opposite. That's guilty until proven innocent. And it's got its moments in there where it's like, I know, like, the very end there, you're like, wait, he just told a contradiction. How can this character have done something but also have been asleep at the same time, so they can't be a valid witness or something like that? And they didn't call him on that. That was a very blatant contradiction on his part. And Phoenix Wright, that would have been kind of the thread that pulls the case apart or something like that. And I guess that kind of gets down to it. You can't really say it's a good anime in that regard because it's not very strong in that regard per se, especially since the system is inherently corrupt, and instead of about finding the contradictions and pulling them apart and just being a really awesome defense lawyer, essentially, for magical people, instead you kind of got an element there which is entertaining but not quite as mind-boggling, I guess, or this mind-boggling isn't the right word, but I'm having trouble thinking of the right word. So I guess it's not perfect, and I don't know. again, it's rated kind of harshly, like Devil Survivor 2, but I kind of thought they were both more watchable than their ratings would have led me to believe. Then this is the Mal rating, so this is kind of a combination of stuff, and who knows if that could just be like the community representative on Mal has collectively aged and new people aren't coming in, and so the acceptance of new ideas isn't a big idea or something like that. But I don't know. I can accept that it's not perfect though, because it's definitely not perfect. Well, other than that stuff, I think it's mostly just been Pokemon. With the new Ghostbusters trailers out, I did feel like rewatching the old Ghostbusters, you know, because that's actually still a pretty good movie in my opinion. I don't like the trailer. I think my main problem with it is it kind of reveals an overall direction for the movie that is, hey, we're going to make strong women, which is... And the reason I'm putting the air quotes around strong is because it's the sort of thing where if they're having to tell you, oh yeah, this person is the smart one, that kind of violates the show don't tell concept, and it kind of makes it look like they are trying to say, hey, look everybody, let's pretend this person is smart, without trying to give us something to actually believe it with. And I think that's a problem. It's supposed to be kind of poster board people. It's like, yes, see, women can be smart and can do quantum physics and whatnot, instead of having women that are smart and do quantum physics and have people see them and say, yeah, okay, that's cool. Some of the humor didn't feel that great either. But other than the exorcism stuff at the very end of the trailer, most of it was just like, okay, I don't care for it, but it's not really movie ruining. I guess I'm not a big fan of the, yeah. It's stuff. There's a lot of stuff. It's a movie that I just don't want to invest time and energy into, so I'm probably not going to watch it unless I really get dragged out to it. But as far as I know, my friends and family kind of agree that it doesn't look that great. The old movie is great, though. I know some people kind of have some disagreements. They think some of the jokes aren't really, like, funny, but I think the problem is that Ghostbuster jokes weren't actually told for the audience, and that's kind of the big difference here. They were jokes told to each other so that we can watch and say, okay, now I didn't think that was, like, gut-bustingly hilarious, but it was amusing watching that sick burn. I have a specific scene in mind, but I'm not going to talk about it. In case you haven't seen the old one and you want to watch the old one, then there's, of course, the really awesome underlying message, which is kind of present in some other stuff, and it's all cool. I don't know. I'm blabbering on, because a lot of that stuff is unimportant. Obviously, most of my time has actually been spent playing Pokemon. So I went in with a total of 300 Ultra Balls, caught about 250 Dittos, sorted through them, and my IV breeding has actually been pretty lighthearted for the time being. I've gone for 3 Pokemon. The most important 2 are Blaziken and Starmie in order to get a handle on the Elite Four, to make it where it's just a complete domination. And the reason for those choices, Blaziken was actually my primary choice because I wanted a Fire-type Pokemon in there to deal with that Steel stuff. But in order to deal with Probopass's Sturdy, so it goes down one hit, I wanted a Double Kick. And Blaziken was a very natural choice. He actually did a lot of the work towards making the Elite Four very, very manageable, and then it was just a matter of Starmie getting up there and bringing in the spectacular type coverage that Starmie brings in. And now every Elite Four member goes down in one hit, which is what I was looking for. I did make one more Pokemon, but I'm keeping it on the hush because I think my friend might watch these updates, and if I decide I'm going to use it against him, I want it to surprise him. Sorry, I don't know where these hiccups came from. But yeah, that's actually not bad. I remember when it used to take weeks and weeks. I mean, it took weeks and weeks for my very first Ivy bred Pokemon because, well, 4th gen was not as forgiving as 6th gen has become, and was still learning the ropes. It took me a long time to kind of figure out, yeah, Dittos are kind of the way to go to make this stuff go so much faster. So, there's going to be a slight break there because the kind of Pokemon I want to train up I don't have access to in 6th Gen on its own. I did get Pokemon Bank, and I did get Red, Blue, and Yellow. Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow. One on each of my 3 3DSs. But I think I want to try and stay 6th Gen focused until I reach a point where I'm like, okay, now I'm just focusing on legendary Pokemon that aren't obtainable normally or something like that. So, under that understanding, that this basically means I'm probably firing up to start going through X and ORAS, just to get some of the Pokemon there. I'm not sure how much I'm going to focus specifically on doing that, but I am going to focus enough such that hopefully by next week I'll have gone through both games. I don't know. Tonight I just need to prepare Pokemon for my friends, and then that should probably be done. And no, I guess I might focus on Pokédex related stuff in Y before I go there. Just because that's what he's focusing on and makes sense to stay in sync. Let's see. I did check, and I guess I vaguely recall this now, but yeah, the Psycho Pass, even though it says Blu-ray plus DVD on the side, it's a Blu-ray only limited edition thing. So, in order to get the DVD version, I have to order the normal Blu-ray plus DVD release for Psycho Pass 2. And now I think about it, that is, I think, what exactly happened for the first season. In fact, I guess that one released Blu-ray complete first, and then I had to buy Season 1 Part 1 and Season 1 Part 2 to get the Blu-ray and DVD versions. I think. It's been so long, it's hard to remember exactly. Well, I'll be ordering that so that it shows up for next week, I guess. I think that's everything I was going to cover. Maybe slightly more, but whatever. Anyways, y'all have a nice week.